What's going on? So today is building your self-esteem. All right, that's 4.3. That is located on page 121, I believe, through 127. All right, so the idea of this lesson is describe the difference between self-image and self-esteem. Explain the importance of self-esteem. Assess the characteristics of people with healthy and low self-esteem. Identify factors that influence self-esteem and employ strategies for improving your self-esteem. Here on the right side are the 5 key terms that will be highlighted in yellow throughout this lesson. All right, so many teens feel good about some aspects of themselves and their lives, but feel dissatisfied about other aspects. These sometimes complex feelings are a normal part of adolescence, when many people struggle to figure out what they think of themselves. So, self-image. Your self-image is a mental picture of yourself, including your appearance, skills, and abilities and weaknesses. So it's kind of like an out-of-body experience in a sort of way. Self-image is kind of like looking at another person. It's your feelings towards that person. It's what you think they're capable of, what you think they do right, what they do wrong, how you feel about being around them, how you think other people feel about being around them, etc., etc. It's kind of like looking at another person, but it's how you look at you. So that could be in a positive manner. You could have a great self-image of yourself, or you could have a really crappy self-image of yourself. Wow, I wouldn't want to hang out with that person. Well, that person is you. So hopefully you have a good self-image, but that is what self-image is, and it's kind of a blurred line, because self-esteem kind of seems like it might be the same thing in little ways, but it is slightly different. That is, describes how you feel about yourself, confidence in one's own worth and abilities. So self-image is kind of how you picture yourself. Self-esteem is how much you believe in yourself. So the importance of self-esteem has a major impact on your day. All right, it could be small, could be huge, whatever. If you don't have a good self-esteem, any challenge is going to be hard. Any task is going to be hard. Okay, self-esteem is super important. Your self-esteem has a major impact on many different aspects of your life. It affects how well you do in school, how you make friends, how you manage disappointments and frustrations. Having a healthy self-esteem will drive you to care for yourself and take steps to reach your full potential. Okay, so self-esteem is like a motivational thing too. If you don't have a good self-esteem, your motivation is probably going to be pretty low because you think you can't do it. So we're going to talk about healthy self-esteem real quick. So if you have a good self-esteem, you believe in your abilities, you know that you can get better at something. If you're not good at it right away, you know that you're good at other things. So you're not too concerned if one thing doesn't pan out. You're okay with that, all right? So generally, people with healthy self-esteem like themselves. That goes kind of back to that self-image too. What do you think of yourself? Feel secure and worthy of love and respect. Feel proud of accomplishments and recognize weaknesses. Everybody's got a weakness, all right? If I went and played basketball against Taco Fall from the Celtics, who's 7'7", I realize my weakness is going to be my height against him. Or if I were to try to play basketball against anybody in the NBA for that matter, I understand I'm at a huge disadvantage, and I might not have a whole lot of success playing basketball on that level, and that's okay. Accept correction from others, especially like teachers, principals, parents, leaders in the church, whatever it could be. They might, or your boss, if you have a boss, if they give you a little correction, it's not a big deal. They're not so concerned about what you did wrong usually. It's how you respond to that. So if you are failing a course and your parents or somebody asks you to try harder or do better, they might not so much care that you're failing the course. They care about after that. How do you respond to failing that course? How do you respond to them, approaching you, whatever, that correction? Maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that. If you don't take their advice, then they're probably going to be kind of upset. Ask others for help if needed. trust their choices and follow their values, attempt new activities, embrace challenges. That's a big thing about self-esteem. You're more willing to try new things, and if you're trying new things, you're challenging yourself. It's really good for your mental health as well. Low self-esteem. Obviously, if you don't like yourself, you probably dislike yourself. Feel insecure and unworthy of love and respect. Criticize your own abilities. Sensitive to criticism. You hear criticism and you instantly kind of fold like a lawn chair. You think that you're never going to get better, or the person doesn't like you, and that's not the case. They just want to help you improve, help you be more productive, etc. Maybe make more friends better, whatever it is. Blame others for their mistakes. Change depending on who's around them, and feel threatened by differences. Those are people with low self-esteem. Okay. Moving on to this next page. Sorry. Okay. I had to find it in my book here. So people with low self-esteem doubt their worth and may feel negatively about their traits, skills, and abilities. Factors that affect that. That would be such as early childhood. Children with parents or guardians who treat them lovingly and praise them often develop a sense of pride in who they are. On the other hand, children who receive constant criticism and rejection may develop a low self-esteem. Social interactions, whether positive or negative, can have a lasting effect on how people feel about themselves. So if you were told when you did things well, and you're aware of, good behavior, bad behavior, good performance, bad performance, what I can do to get better. If you were taught that as a child, it obviously is going to help. If you were always criticized and you felt like nothing you did was truly good enough, even when you did try your best, maybe you weren't told how you could be better, maybe you were told how you could be better a little too much, that can obviously affect your self-esteem a lot, because you don't know when you've done enough. So you never feel like you've done enough, or you don't know when you've done a good job. So every time you do something, you feel like you haven't done it well enough, where you might be doing it better than most people. Okay, so that a lot of times it's early childhood where those factors kind of come in. Person's environment as well. If you got good friends, you got a good support group, that's going to help bring you up. If you got crappy friends, you're in a school that you don't like, and you just got a lot of people around you that for some reason have picked on you or whatever, obviously that's going to bring down your self-esteem. But there is people, and there are always groups that you can find if you look and try hard enough to make new friends, that you're going to find some supportive people. As long as you're supportive to them as well. It goes both ways. If you're not, be a friend to get a friend. So a lot of times it's your environment. Social media, it talks about on here too, about how social media can impact self-esteem between Photoshop, the likes, everything like that. It kind of feels like you're getting a rating, constantly getting a rating on your pictures, on your selfies, or whatever it might be. You feel like you're being judged, rated if you get you don't get enough likes, whatever. Like I said, the Photoshop, you see pictures of people that have been manipulated into looking like this ideal, human, which is it's not even possible, or it's such a low percentage as it doesn't even make sense of people that look like that. So it puts this bad image in your head of how you should look. Okay. Know your strengths, so improving self-esteem. No matter the level of self-esteem, there are steps you can take to get better. Okay. Know your strengths. Everybody's good at something, whether you think it's something that's useful or not. No, you're good at something, and if you got good at one thing, you can get good at something else. So just know your strengths. These are some examples of people in positive environments versus negative environments. You can check those out when you get a second. I don't really have enough time to look at it on here. Celebrate your successes. When you have done things well. You've either won something or did something that you're proud of in the past. Whatever it was, big or small. If you recognize that and you celebrate those successes, that's going to help you have a better self-image, better self-esteem. Okay, that stuff translates over, and I'll talk about something here. It's not even in the book in a second. That kind of relates to that. Affirmations each day. Write down and repeat what you like about yourself and how you've succeeded. So you can kind of take daily notes on what you got done that day, what you liked about the day, what you think you could have improved on. Those are affirmations. Somebody once told me that a very successful person said every time they walk through a door, every time they go under a door frame, they instantly think of something they like about themselves. They say one thing that they do well. They tell themselves. It's constantly, if you're always walking through a door and you're like, oh, and you literally train yourself to do this, okay? It's a real thing. You train yourself to say something you like about yourself every time you walk through a door frame, then it becomes second nature. All right, and that starts to build. You start to have confidence in yourself. It's kind of like if you're watching a sports team and it's the end of the game and you were watching Kobe, R.I.P., you're watching Kobe Bryant and you saw he had the ball. You had a way better feeling about anything that was going to happen on that play than if the ball went to, one of the guys that plays like 2 minutes a game that was only playing because the team, somebody on the team fouled out. Okay? If that person had the ball, you don't really know what to think. Or let's say that person has, missed a lot of shots. Maybe it's J.R. Smith. He gets the ball and he forgets how much time is on the clock, and you kind of have a bad feeling about it, and you don't know what that person's going to do. You're going to have a way better feeling if you got somebody like a Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, LeBron James. They have the basketball in their hand. That same thing goes towards you. If you're always telling yourself every time you go through a door that you're doing things right, or you're giving yourself reminders of how you feel about yourself, it's kind of like watching those guys win games over and over. Okay, you're building confidence and you're building this routine of why you should believe in yourself and how you can make the next big shot per se, whatever that task would be. Avoid perfectionism. Okay, so basically it's unrealistic. All right, so if you're expecting to do something super well and not mess up, a lot of people they want to be perfect, and it's just not right. You want to go for excellent, not perfect. Excellent means there's a little room for error, but you're doing it very well. But however, the only way you're going to get to excellence is through practice. Okay. I will talk about the one thing I was mentioning a second ago. It's called learning curve. If you can understand that everything you do, no matter what it is, from drawing on a piece of paper to skateboarding to putting on makeup to playing basketball, football, dance, schoolwork, it all has a learning curve. And what that is the more you do it, the better you get. The better your brain organizes things associated with that task, whether it's movements, coordination, memory, whatever. There is a learning curve to everything, and you got to understand that if you get on something that you've never done, say I get on a skateboard right now, I would be crappy and I would probably fall down. I couldn't move, whatever it might be. I might fall down and hurt myself. But if I got on that skateboard every single day, I will get better because I learned something each time that I do it. My body, my brain, and my muscles connect better each time. They know what to do, what not to do with my balance, whatever. That is learning curve. You guys learned how to write. A lot of ladies probably learned how to put on makeup. The first time that you did that, it was probably kind of rough. You might have missed your mouth and put a streak across your face like the Joker. Whatever. Okay. Eventually, your hand got smoother. All right. When you're putting on makeup, your fine motor skills with your hand, your eye coordination to know what it should look like got better. You learned how to do that. And just like you learned how to do that, you can learn how to do something that you've never done before. Okay? Like I said, whether that's skateboarding, whatever, learning to be an auctioneer, whatever you want to do, you can get better at something new that you've never done, even if you're 18, 25, 30, 40, 50, whatever. You can learn to do new things. Okay, these are things to look at if you're trying to be a perfectionist. These are kind of ways to identify that to make it unrealistic. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't have a lot of time and I'm losing some on this. My bad. See, I was on to get over to 127 again real quick. try this.